Basic characteristics of human rights. Human rights are fundamental rights inherent to every individual regardless of their background. They are essential for a dignified and fulfilling life. Here are some key characters of human rights. Universality. Human rights apply to everyone, everywhere, regardless of race, gender, nationality, religion, or any other status. This means that everyone has the same fundamental rights, regardless of their location or background. For example, the right to freedom of speech applies to everyone, whether they are a citizen of a developed country or a refugee in a conflict zone. Inalienability. Human rights cannot be taken away or given up. They are inherent to our humanity and cannot be forfeited, even though bad behavior or voluntary relinquishment. For example, even a convicted criminal retains the right to a fair trial and humane treatment. Indivisibility. All human rights are equal, important, and interconnected. They cannot be separated or ranked in terms of importance. For example, the right to freedom of expression is as important as the right to life, and to both are essential for our dignified life. Interdependence. Human rights are interconnected and depend on each other. The realization of one right often depends on the realization of others. For example, the right to education is essential for the exercise of the right to free speech and participation in society. Equality. Human rights are based on the principle of equality. Everyone is entitled to the same rights and opportunities, regardless of their differences. For example, the right to equal protection under the law applies to everyone, regardless of their race, gender, or social status. RA 7438 is a Philippine law known as an act defining certain rights of person arrested, detained under custodial investigation, as well as the duties of the arresting, detaining, and investigating officers, and providing penalties for violations thereof. It was enacted on April 27, 1992. Key provisions of RA 7438. Right to counsel. A person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation has the right to be assisted by counsel at all times. Miranda rights. Law enforcement officers are required to inform suspects of their rights to remain silent and to have legal representation. Custodial investigation report. The report detailing the investigation must be written and explained to the suspect in a language they understand. Extrajudicial confessions. Extrajudicial confessions are only admissible in court if made in writing, signed by the suspect in the presence of their counsel, and with a valid waiver. Visits and conferences. Arrested or detained individuals have the right to visits from family, medical professionals, religious leaders, and representatives of accredited non-governmental organizations. Penalties for violations. The law imposes penalties on officers who fail to inform suspects of their rights or obstruct their access to legal representation and other rights. Purpose of RA 7438. The primary purpose of RA 7438 is to protect the rights of individuals who are arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation. It aims to prevent abuse and ensure that suspects are treated fairly and with respect for their human dignity. Significance of RA 7438. RA 7438 is considered a landmark law in the Philippines. It has significantly strengthened the legal framework for protecting the rights of individuals during police investigations and custody. It has been instrumental in promoting accountability and upholding the rule of law in the country. What is Miranda Doctrine? Miranda Doctrine, also known as the Miranda Warning, is a set of rights that law enforcement officers in the Philippines must inform suspects of behavior questioning them while in custody. These rights are derived from the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects individuals from self-incrimination, and the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the right to counsel. Origin of Miranda Doctrine. The Miranda Doctrine stems from the landmark Supreme Court case Miranda versus Arizona, 1966. In this case, Ernesto Miranda was arrested for kidnapping and rape. During interrogation, he confessed to to the crimes without being informed of his rights. The Supreme Court was ruled that Miranda's confession was inadmissible in court because he was not informed of his right to remain silent and his right to an attorney. Key concepts of the Miranda warning. The Miranda warning typically includes the following statements. You have the right to remain silent. This means that a suspect does not have to answer any questions asked by the police. Anything you say will be used against you in the court of law. This emphasizes that any statements made by a suspect can be used as evidence against them in a trial. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. This ensures that a suspect has the opportunity to consult with an attorney before making any statements to the police. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. This guarantees that the right to have an attorney present during any interrogation. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. This ensures that even those who cannot afford legal representation have access to an attorney. Purpose of the Miranda Doctrine. The primary purpose of the Miranda Doctrine is to protect the constitutional rights of individuals who are suspected of crimes by informing suspects of their rights. The doctrine aims to prevent coerced confessions. The Miranda warning helps to ensure that confessions are voluntary and not obtained through force, threats, or other forms of coercion. Ensures fair and impartial trials. By ensuring that suspects are aware of their rights, the Miranda Doctrine helps to create a more level playing field in criminal proceedings. Promote respect for the legal systems. The Miranda Doctrine reinforces the importance of due process and the protection of individual rights within the legal system. Exceptions to the Miranda Doctrine. While the Miranda Doctrine applies to the most custodial interrogations, there are some exemptions, such as public safety exception. If there is an immediate threat to the public safety, police may question a suspect without giving them a Miranda warning. Undercover operations. The Miranda warning does not apply to uncover agents who are posing as potential criminals. Consequences of violating the Miranda Doctrine. If law enforcement officers fail to give a suspect a Miranda warning before questioning them, any statements made by the suspect may be inadmissible in court. This means that the statements cannot be used as evidence against the suspect.